All right, with that being said, bud, we're going to get right into it. The main event, the Zone pay-per-view, is from Anaheim, California. Jake Paul versus Julio Chavez Jr. It's the fight that I thought about you a lot, but I thought about a saying that you say all the time: people born round don't die square. You are what you are. And I crack up with some of the comments reading after the fight with people disappointed in the performance of Chavez Jr. This is what he's been his whole career. This is what he's always shown. To me, there was no difference whatsoever. He did not throw barely any punches for the first half of the fight.
More than half. First 8 rounds, you might say.
Yeah, and a little life at the end, but too late when he knew the fight was winding down on time. I say this that it was hard for me to gauge the performance of Jake Paul. It's essentially a sparring session, and I'm trying to see, is he continuing? Is he developing? Is he getting better? And off of this fight, it was hard to gauge when you're fighting a puncher bag, but then towards the end of the fight, I thought he was exposed. The stamina started to dip. The defense wasn't tight. There was some technical flaws. You could find them. You could hit him. In the end, he gets a decision. He gets another win. He keeps his show moving on. What'd you make of this fight? What'd you think of Jake Paul and his performance overall?
Making no excuses for Jake Paul. Give him credit for what he's done with his career, with his promotion, with his business, with his dream. Give him credit. Give the guy credit. God almighty, he takes risk. Maybe he got caught by surprise. This guy wasn't throwing any punches for 8 rounds, and then he starts punching. And he caught him. There's no doubt about it.
It is hard to look good against a guy who doesn't throw any punches.
Yeah, you just wonder, did he catch him by surprise? All of a sudden, he thinks he's not going to throw after 8 rounds of not throwing, and then all of a sudden he catches him because he's throwing and you don't expect it. I'm not saying there's an excuse, no excuse, but I'm just pointing out what I point out. All right? My eyes and my experience and the truth for me. That's, and at the same time, you know, as that, happened, where again, the punches all of a sudden started when there was nothing going on. You mentally have a little bit of we're human. Fighters are human, where you start to, take for granted nothing's coming. So you start to kind of not shut down mentally. You can't shut down the ring mentally. You have a problem. But you start to go into a little bit of co-pilot, a little bit mentally, not just physically. And then all of a sudden, bang, the guy's fighting the way that you would have thought he was going to fight from the opening bell. And of course, it's a little bit of a shock to your system, a little bit of an adjustment. At the end of the day, you're right. Anybody who's surprised about Chavezz don't know boxing. They don't know anything. I mean, they just, I guess, then they don't believe what their eyes tell them. That they've seen this. They've been down this road with this guy before, with Chavezz. That the greatest thing about him for years now has been his name. He was a world champion. Yeah, he almost knocked out a real good fighter, Sergio Martinez, in the last round and all that. I give him credit for all that, but not for the last 12 years, 10 years, whatever it's been. The guy's has a lot of personal problems. We hope he's okay. Drug problems, on suspension, in and out of boxing. Losses. He lost to Silva, the great UFC legend, but he was 45 years old when he lost to him. He has shown, as my son said, that he ain't that guy that people want to make him, because of the name. He's not, and no matter how much you try to believe that maybe that's what you're going to get because you want to get it, well, just what you want to get does not make for reality. I want to see a fight. I want to see this guy tested. I get it. A lot of people feel that way about Jake Paul. People want to see him beat. They want to see him knocked on his backside. I want to see. Yeah, but you got to be honest with yourself about who and what you're saying and attaching your hopes to. This is a guy who has shown yourself not to be that fighter anymore, not to be a guy who wants to fight anymore. Who has that going through his veins anymore, that desire to go in there and prove himself. and to, whether it's to live up to the Mexican heritage or up to his father's great name, he doesn't have the motivation, the discipline to do that anymore. It just doesn't. And I give him credit. At least he forced himself. Maybe the father yelling at ringside and embarrassed and upset. Maybe the father got through to him a little bit in the last 2 rounds where, he did go out there and try and salvage a little bit, where people would say, okay, at least he gave us something at the end. I give Paul credit. You got to give him credit for this, though, where Paul, I think, has gotten better. I think he's more comfortable in his own skin. I think he's more comfortable as a fighter. He believes it. I believe that he's more comfortable in his environment now, in the ring. I believe that his reactions are better now. He reacts like a fighter. I know he doesn't do everything perfect. No kidding. He is thick. His body does make you think about what program he's on as far as weights and everything else, that he's so thick and strong. And yeah, he is thick and strong. And that kind of body can get tired late in fight, or can get worn out, can run out of oxygen. The muscles can get deprived of oxygen. More so than other kinds of tight muscles. That's a physiological fact. And he might have showed a little bit of that happening late in the fight, starting to tire a little bit. But he works hard. He gets himself in shape. I'll tell you what, he's great. And you can't deny, he's a great matchmaker. He picks his spot. He's a great matchmaker. And people say, yeah, he got the advantage. He was younger. He's younger. He's bigger. He's stronger. Hey, when you bring the money, you get the choice of having the advantage. When you're the one whose name is attached to the promotion and you're paying everyone and they're paying and the networks and everyone else is paying to see you with him, guess what? He gets to choose the advantages. He gets to make the choices of what the deal's going to be. Yeah, it's that way in the world. And he put himself in a position to have that choice, to have that advantage. And there's still a risk. You saw it the last couple rounds. People say, oh, he was terrible. If the guy started earlier. Yeah, it would have been nice to see him start early. Why didn't he start earlier? I'll tell you why he didn't start early. I have no doubt why he didn't start early. Chavez wasn't in the greatest shape to start early. He didn't, and he doesn't have that running through his veins anymore. The urgency to start earlier, that's not there anymore. What happens with a guy like him that finishes strong and did nothing for 8 rounds, there's a real explanation for it. It's physical and it's psychological. He doesn't have, there's no urgency anymore. He doesn't have the desire, and he doesn't have the discipline, and he doesn't have the belief. He doesn't have the confidence. He's not that fighter anymore. He's not that guy no more, where he can start early and believe that he'll be okay starting early. He didn't believe he'd be okay. He didn't purposely try to dog it, but he didn't believe that he could start early. He don't have what a fighter has to have, that ultimate belief, that discipline, that fighter's mentality, that, yeah, I'll start early and I'll keep going. And if something happens late, I'll keep going anyway. I'll find a way. He didn't have to have that mentality. He's made a lot of money. He's not that guy. Now, some people always have that mentality, even if they made a lot of money, like Michael Jordan in basketball. He was always going to have that mentality. Not everybody is Michael Jordan in boxing, in life, in basketball, in any vocation, in any trade. They don't all have that kind of mentality, that kind of character, whatever you want to call it, that kind of makeup. I really believe, I have no doubt about it, that Chavez just did not believe. He probably didn't do the best training in the world. We heard the reports that his strength coach was a good guy. He's a serious guy. I know him, Chris Camacho. I had him in camp with Vosic. He's a good, serious guy. He knows what he's doing. He's a proud guy. He's a pro. He ain't going to be there if he doesn't think that he's there with a guy who's given his all. So he walked out of camp. That tells you something. It tells you what I'm talking about. That when you get in that ring and you have to have that belief that I can behave like a fighter. I can fight like a fighter. I can throw punches the way a fighter is supposed to throw, from the first bell to the last bell. I can do that. But when you don't believe you can do that, you act the way, you perform the way we just watched him, very honestly. Maybe he didn't mean to be that honest, but very honestly, he showed you, no, I don't have that urgency. I don't have that confidence. I don't have that discipline. I don't have that spirit anymore to believe. Forget about knowing how to throw the punch the right way and throw that hook to the liver that we wanted to see him throw and he never threw it. Forget about that. What it comes down, you have to have the desire to do it. You have to have, with that desire, the belief, the confidence. He no longer has that. So what happens is this. You're looking for light at the end of the tunnel. You're in a dark place, and you're looking for light. There's no light, you're not going to punch. No, I can't. There's no light. I got to be careful. I'm not going to throw. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to throw sustained punches because I don't know if I can get there. And then all of a sudden you get to the 8th round, and there's light. There's only 2 rounds left, 3 rounds left. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Hey, guys, there's light up there. Okay, I know I can finish. And then he throws punches. That's your explanation. You could go anywhere in the world to try to get an explanation. Or you don't give a damn. You just say he's a dog. I don't care. Whatever, that's fine. But I'm giving you, from 50 years in this business, of being in this world, that's why he suddenly threw late. And I want to give credit to Paul in this way. Yeah, he's a good manager. Yeah, he picked his spot again. But there was danger at the end. He survived the danger. I know it was only in spots, and it was with a smaller guy and an older guy and all that crap. But he showed me his legs aren't bad. He's got good judgment of stepping out of range. He showed me good reactionary skills that are getting better. He even showed some decent defensive skills where he dipped his head a little bit. He moved and I tell you one thing, I know he's not great. People are going to try to murder me. I don't care what you try. I'm not saying he's Jake LaMotta. I'm not saying he's Sugar Ray Robinson. I'm not saying he's any of the, I'm not saying he can beat those guys now that are up there. I think the best spot that he would probably look to pick if he wants a real title fight would probably be Bordeaux Jack, who's 42 years old, and he's a world champion. He's got a real belt. That might be his best spot to navigate, to maneuver enough with young legs to have a shot there, unless he wants to go to another event. He's talking about Joshua. I don't know if that stuff's real. He's talking about Joshua. He's throwing these names around. Listen, he is Barnum and Bailey. Besides, give him credit. He's Barnum and Bailey. He's an entertainer. He's a promoter. Give him credit for what he's done, and he does take risk. There's still a level of risk. It's just that it's in his favor. Yeah, he's earned that. He has earned the right to have it in his favor. I thought that the one thing I'll finish with in the analysis of Jake Paul that I got to give him credit, real ultimate credit for. Yeah, he's using I think his best punch is his jab. I know he's got a good right hand. He's got power in the right hand. He threw some really good right hands to the body. And listen, Chavezz took him. He took him. He had them, but he threw some good hard right hands to the body. He's got a good right hand. He's got power in it. But his jab is his best punch. He's got a pretty good, stiff, straight, strong jab. His legs are pretty good, like I said. He can move laterally, get angles. He can step out of range on you. Is he real creative with his arsenal of punches? No. Did he throw that right uppercut that they didn't even mention? That he threw it, that he landed? He threw it at the right time. I give him credit. It could be dangerous to throw a right uppercut from that far away, but he did it when he knew that Chavezz was backing up and wasn't set. That shows me awareness. That shows me he's getting calm in his environment. That shows me a little something. And last thing that showed me that I want to, give him credit for is that when Chavez did make his little runs, and they were little runs, but when he made his little runs, he made big one the last 2 rounds, but when he made his little runs,
Paul responds and acts like a fighter right away.
he sure did, bud. See, you think like a fighter and a fighting person because you've been around it your whole life.
Yeah, it stood out immediately. He does respond.
He responds. He doesn't let you keep the momentum. He doesn't let you dominate him. He doesn't let you take the oxygen out of the room. He does what a fighter has to do. I don't care if it's a great fighter, a white-collar fighter, a beginning fighter, a fighter at his level. I don't care. He does what my son just said, 100%. What a fighter has to do. He responds. He comes back and he breaks up your momentum. He doesn't let you dominate him. He behaves like a fighter. And now a lot of people, I'm going to say it again, he behaves like a fighter. Now a lot of you people are going to hate that. Oh my God, he's a YouTuber, Daddy. He's muddying the waters of your beautiful sport. No, he's not. He's bringing attention to the sport. He's bringing more attention to the sport, more people that are interested, that are crossing over, that are curious about it, and we'll see how it goes. And he's reminding people, if you have a dream, and go out there and work your ass off to make it come true. Go ahead. Don't be afraid. And that's what he's done. Yeah, I'm not crazy. I'm not saying he's beating Canelo, he's doing this, I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm saying what I'm saying. And what I'm saying, I stand by. And it's right.